Hello everybody, welcome to the show. Hello Clara.
Good morning. Hi Gary.
Hi Jean.
Hi.
Well, people, we have Clara McFarlane from Motherwell today joining us. So Clara's a medium from Motherwell, so she's come on the show to answer some of our questions. So she's brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Clara, let's get started. First question, how did you get into the movement?
Coming into the movement, Gary and Jane, I was actually pretty young. I was actually self-developed for a lot of years. I read books, I read all different religions. I started learning cards on my own because I knew there was something different to what was the mandatory teaching, so to speak. And I started just doing things, learning. But then in the age of my late 20s, I thought, I'm hearing too much, I'm seeing too much, I need to be disciplined. Albeit I was doing readings, but I knew at this point I had to, with ethics, boundaries, policies. I thought I need to get myself somewhere, sit in circles now, and be with like-minded people. And then it started to take more from there.
Right. Yeah. Well, Jean, fire away. I know what you like. You're dying to go.
Desperate. So Clara, who actually developed you? Although you're probably a natural medium, who developed you?
Well, believe it or not, one of my good friends, Tom Rannikin, when I was young, I went to Tom. He's a fabulous medium out there, but he's not affiliated to any organisations. And I sat with Tom for years. Then I looked at a few different circles, just all different circles. I went to the Burn, more or less affiliated. I wanted to be my own gym.
Yeah.
And then eventually I found like the SAGB, then I found the SNU. And I sat with them for a few years as well. And then I decided after, I had a brain haemorrhage in 2017, took a break for 5 years, then I came back after, on my own.
So how were you welcomed back into the movement when you came back?
Do you know what? It was fabulous. Everybody loved to see me again. But it's like anything, it's like in the working world, everybody wants to see you. But yeah, everybody was happy that I was still alive because, believe it or not, I took the haemorrhage in Edinburgh when I was with mediums.
Yeah.
Right.
So did you get a lot of support from your mediums when you were unwell?
I can say honestly, when it comes to visual, physically, no. I can count on one hand who came to visit me in my house. I can tell you though, a few of my close friends, and without naming, one's quite, she was a close friend, she still is, like my mum, for my mum passing over. A few came into the hospital, and then it's when I came home and noticed, not just even from the SNU point of view, but from mediums I've been with all my life. And I suppose we can put this into like anything in life. A life-changing thing is where you see who your true friends are.
Yeah.
Could you maybe share with the audience, Cara, what happened to yourself, eh? How it come up? Could you share what happened to yourself and how it happened, how you managed to
Yeah,
in the hospital?
Yeah, absolutely. I had been getting a lot of sore heads, and funny enough, when I'd been sitting in circles, sitting around about mediums, they would keep saying, "Oh, you're dehydrated, it's your imagination." And funny enough, this is one of my gripes when mediums go into medical, because they would say, "Can you feel spirit moving about your head?" No, I know there's something wrong with my head. And I kept going to work, knowing at the same time there was something wrong. We keep going to the doctors. No. They even had me like a basket case. And then one night, the headaches were debilitating, and one night in Edinburgh, because I couldn't hear, I couldn't speak, I was vomiting. I then, funny enough, carried on later on by, look, I have anti-nausea tablets prescribed. I then carried on and went to watch, it was Gordon Smith at the time. And we went up to the church he was working in Edinburgh, and we had a good giggle. And we even said at the end, when it all came out, we were standing in the stairs going, I've got a sore head, I'll just go on with it, stop moaning. It wasn't. The time I got home, I said to my friend, I can't drive. The lights and everything. Wanted home for my children. Then in the middle of the night, woke up, can't go to work, my own job. The next day, my little boy's dad came over and he said something's not right here. Got to the hospital, done scans, and even the nurses went, there's nothing wrong with you. And I went, no, there is, you look good. And it was a young doctor run out and said, get her in here. Done scans, he said, they don't show. He said, but however, 1 in 100 don't. Done a lumbar puncture, and he said, give it a thunderclap, and it showed all the blood coming from my spine, from my head. Rushed then over to Queen Elizabeth in Glasgow, and within 20 minutes, they'd done an angiogram, had me ready, and I died twice on the table. So for an operation, it would take 3.5 hours. I was told I would get in and out in a week. 4 weeks later, everything went wrong. Everything. Wow. But it was, do you know what? Paradoxically, it's the best thing that happened to me, because I made such good friends with the staff that looked after me, and I'm still friendly with them. I then took a break from mediumship. I didn't realise how much I had given in my life. Basically, my life was stopped because I was doing everything in mediumship, running in and out to churches, serving centres. Yes, I had my children, and top of it, I was working and looking after my kids, and I thought, it's the best thing that happened, because it made me reevaluate life, friendships, and also where I should be going in my journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about when you died? Do you remember what happened to you? Could you remember? Yes. Did you see anything? Could you maybe share that with me?
Yeah. What we're reading books, or what we're told maybe orthodoxy, it becomes a mantra. It's not always the case. We're told we speak telepathically when we go over to the other worlds. That's not what happened to me. I remember speaking to friends. I met up with them, and they were passed over, and I thought, how am I speaking to these people? My friends from young childhood, they were still partying. And I remember saying, oh, what are you doing here? And they went, we're having a party, and they were all in a house on a sofa. And they went, Clara, you're trying to go to the shop. Do you want to go to the shop now you're here? And I went, no. I even don't drink now. And they went, oh, right. The next minute, I just then knew I was speaking to my mum. And funny enough, when I spoke to all the guys and the girls in the party, it was verbally. When I spoke to my mum, it was telepathically.
No.
We didn't speak with our mouths. And I remember saying, oh, Mum, I miss you so much, and what are you doing? And I'm talking to you, and oh my God, I can't believe I can see you. And then the next minute, I knew days later, I woke up, I remember I was just trying to talk to me. And then I heard after it, I was in life support and they were going to switch it off.
Wow, some journey. Yeah.
And I remember my mum actually saying to me, your blood pressure keeps dropping. This is what's happening to you. And eventually I found out that was the case. That's why I kept dying.
Good.
Well, thank you for sharing that experience with the viewers. That's brilliant.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I didn't recommend it. No, I know that everybody wants it, but
do you know what? I was here to reevaluate my life, and I never thought I was materialistic. But I realised slightly I was a bit materialistic, and now I have reevaluated everything, and I've done more.
Good. Mm-hmm. So now you've got a new life, and you can write the pages of this book. Where did you begin?
What I did was getting back into it. I cried a lot for a good couple of years because I lost a lot of friends. I couldn't understand how people that were around about so much could suddenly disappear. And funny enough, my mother had went to church all her life. They came from like the Christian background, and the same, funny enough, happened to Mum. When it came to a time she couldn't go to church, nobody was there.
Yeah.
Physically, they were gone. And I watched this all happening to me, and I went, I can't believe I'm going through this same journey. I then had to give up my driving licence medically.
Yeah.
My personality went back to front. I didn't even know who I was. I had what they call PTSD, which I still deal with every day. Yeah. And I became quieter, more withdrawn. And what happened was people that they knew me, that knew I wasn't driving any longer, I found they were gone. And I always said the day I lost my driving licence, the day where I lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I had to learn to work myself, and to this day I have to learn and manage that and not look back. It's always been said, don't look back in anger.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I look back with, do you know what, it's the best thing that happened to me.
Yep. So how does the PTSD affect you? Could you tell the viewers, please?
Yeah, what happens is I've seen neuropsychologists and things. In fact, I've gone through 4. But it's every day I have this point of, and it comes out of the blue, where I'm back in that hospital, back in the table, back in the bed, seeing everybody around about me, seeing them trying to wake me up to get me tablets, for the pain. I took them as well. And you're just in that bed, that's all you can see, and all these people around about you. Then you sit and relive it, and then stops. Every day that will never stop for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I manage it.
Yeah. Is there any treatment for it?
In psychology, you would speak to psychologists, you've got your talking therapy, psychotherapy and things. You've also got your, it's an EMR, EDP, it's the tapping therapy.
Yeah.
So the things, so you go through all that, but also you have to acknowledge as well in your brain, with the science of the brain, that this has actually happened. So there's part of my brain was not acknowledging it happened.
Yeah.
And it was pushing it back.
I was about to say that. Have you accepted that it's happened? Because it's like it's replaying itself until you finally say, right, okay, I did go through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've accepted it's happened, but it's still replays every day. And there's certain things can trigger, like if I go somewhere, it comes out of the blue.
Right,
and I
okay.
have to be careful. And Jane will tell you, I can get pretty triggered with people that think it's just nothing.
Yeah.
It's huge.
But do you know, Clara, we've said it before, people don't know what's going on in other people's lives, so they fob it off if they've never lived it. Can you let the viewers know how it's actually impacting in your life? I know you say you relive it every day, but just for doing normal things like going shopping, things like that, can you tell the viewers how it's impacting, please?
I can't go shopping unless someone makes me. Now, I was a girl that flew all over the UK every week in my job. I've done my job here. I'm constantly on the go, could go anywhere on the go on my own. Love to go out on my own. Like if we were doing ladies' lunch, I've been there first, doing lunch shopping, so you didn't buy rubbish for everybody. Have lunch, they would still do shopping as important about you. But now I can't do that unless somebody's with me and meets me at the other side. I can't sit in a bus on my own because for some reason I've got a fear of buses and that something's going to happen. But we've worked out it's in closed space as well.
Yeah.
Can't go there. And it was a neuropsych actually said to me, do you feel when you go out as if you're in a computer game on your own? Right, that's exactly. So if there's too many people around about me, it becomes too much because my sense of sense is through the roof now. I can hear everything. But also we've got that part of if there's no one there, I feel alone. So my brain, the biology, how my brain's wired up, there's so much biology that I didn't know. But it's affected my life horrendously. Like I can't do the same I could do with my kids. Everybody would say, like the summer, at times I feel hard. We'll be there for you. We'll all do things. Everybody's too busy with their own life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still working as a medium then? Are you still doing your thing, are you? Yeah.
Thing that ever happens to me.
Yes.
Because you know what, my mediumship for somehow didn't change. It expanded how I was working. And I took that break and then I thought, you know what, I'm going back to this. Yes, was it a big thing to come back? Absolutely, because I was terrified.
Yeah.
But it's the best thing because with the support of meeting Jane and other mediums out there that I know, there's no competition. It's we want everyone to be better than us when we're doing our mentoring things. And it's about support. and I love it.
Yeah.
Can you tell the viewers, excuse me, what you told me the other day about someone who took a chance on you?
Chance on me. And I do have a short-term memory,
Right.
but my long-term memory is fine.
So when I spoke to you the other day, you said I was instrumental in getting you back out there because we had been doing a Zoom church or something. And I said, what about you, Clara? Have you got a message?
I had just been starting slowly dipping my toes back in the water again, doing no readings. And Jean was in a Zoom one night, and we were talking at the end, and I says, oh, I'm starting to sail back out. Well, Jean been Jean. Right, Clara, you do a reading, you do one, then let's see what you've got. I looked at her and I went, well, let's see. Now, bear in mind, I didn't know Jean a lot. And I'm going, oh my goodness. And I thought, do you know what? Best time ever. Just do it. And I did. So I've done a bit of mediumship, and then I worked with Cara psychically. And that was it. And do you know what? That was enough to give me that support. And then know Jean as a person as well.
Yeah.
And see, she's very supportful.
Yeah, she'll certainly give you a kick. Yeah.
Do you know what? First thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
And then I knew, I thought, do you know what? Because for years, Gary, even before all this happened to me, I would sit and let other mediums go forward because I thought, I knew I was good. I knew I could communicate with other worlds. I knew what I was doing was correct to help people and other worlds, not just us. Because we've got the quantum mechanics out there. But I thought, I'll sit back because I couldn't be bothered with the drama.
Yeah.
That's it. I think a lot of people are like that, Cara. A lot of them are like that. They always see everybody else as better than them, and then they hold their cell back. Yeah.
And this time I thought, because I thought my friends were getting on, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to do it because other people talk. And then I thought, when I came back, and Jean done that, and a couple of people went, oh, you're back. And I thought, do you know what? I'm back as me now.
Yeah.
Yes. Good.
And Jean helped with that support and encouragement as well. And I just went to love it. And now it's a catapult. It's the best thing that happened to me.
Well, I didn't really know Clara at all at the time. I knew her face, but I didn't know who she was. Until this day, I don't know where that came from. Excuse me, but Clara only made me aware of it. Was it yesterday or the day before we were chatting and you said, but it was you? And I was like, okay. So how do you feel the movement has changed in the past, say, 10 years?
I think the movements came a long way as in working with children. Okay, we still feel this fuddy-duddy approach that children should not be round about sitting watching mediumship. Well, my answer to that is you watch kids going to chapel, churches, mosques, synagogues, tell them all about hell. I'm like, hello. So it's pretty contradictory. It's like take kids to these kind of places and teach them that they're going to hell, but yet you can't teach them there's another world there explore is the spirit world. So it has came a long way that some people will accept it now. Some people not so much, and I find it pretty fuddy-duddy. I also find we're breaking out the box now. We're looking at science, and lucky enough, I'm involved in some of the science because there is a magnetic field out there, and it's like, how do we connect? What are we doing?
Yeah.
What does the brain do? So there's a lot opening up towards that. Is it coming in a bit later than expected? Absolutely. But at least it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah. I know you spoke there about several religions, but one of the most spiritual people I've ever met is a Muslim lady.
Yes.
And she is so spiritual. So do you think it's people's gifts that make them work in a negative, or does the churches teach fire and brimstone?
I find from when we come to orthodoxy, some of them teach fire and brimstone, because funny enough, I've got a minister in my family and also a priest, and I was brought up with that, albeit my mum came up, my family still will never acknowledge this, but my mum used to behind the scenes say, oh my God, how can we help people, but don't tell them. He said they were brought up to think this was evil. sort of thing. But no, the churches now are looking at it. And funny enough, when I'm mentoring teaching people, a Muslim, when you're, if you've converted to Islam, you would be called a Sufi. That's what we're called. Mediums are called Sufis. Imran Khan married a Sufi. She used to do readings, business readings, but she also used to like to spirit world and other worlds with him. But we have a lot of uneducated, and I don't want to say ignorant, I want to say uneducated out there that will not look at other religions. We'll look at Buddha. You see, everybody's got a Buddha in their house. Why?
No.
Muslims are very kind. Yes, for Sufis, and every other religion has different terminology for mediums. And we have to embrace that.
Absolutely.
Clara, what would you class, or Jean, what would you class as a spiritual person? What would you? How would you class it? Someone as a spiritual person? Is it what they do? Is it how they present themselves, or you know what I mean? What is it? How would you put it into words?
Someone that's true to themselves, as Socrates would say, and we hear the mantra, you have to know yourself before whatever. That came from Socrates. But it's know who you are. Don't live someone you're not. But also be kind to others as well. And remember, to me, a spiritual person is somebody that can put the shoe on the other foot and think how they were treated and how they would feel.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I think we always need to remember in this movement, regardless of what the situation is, we need to remember that we don't know what's going on in people's houses.
Yes.
So they may have come across with the biggest smile on their face every time you see them, but when people are smiling too much or too smiley, as I say, there's usually something more going on behind the smile. So I think we need to be very aware of that.
Yeah, and you'll find comedians, the statistics for comedians out there is the majority of comedians are actually fighting depression.
Yeah, it's the exact same. It's a true saying, smile in your face and a pain in your heart. So you need to be kind to all.
So, Cara, what about this new channel you're starting? You'll be doing, want to give the viewers a wee bit of information on that?
I don't know if I can say too much, if that would make sense. I have done a couple on it, couple of readings, and I was asked would I love to do my own show, teaching and mentoring live.
Good.
And I done one the other week, and it was. I speak about the science behind the brain as well, because we're notorious for saying the subconscious. The subconscious from Freud would be the bad part of the brain that's triggered once. And Jean, you'll probably know some of this with your background. It's unconscious that comes to the conscious, not the subconscious, because that's the bad part of the brain. And how our unconscious can trigger memories, like you'll hear mediums maybe saying, take that pain away, that's hurting me. Now you think from a certain point of view, someone's child comes through, and you think their child is hurting this medium when they're anything but. It's not, it's like a memory is triggered from there that hits our brain, but our brain's just sent a signal.
Yeah.
It's a false memory trigger.
And do you know, I say to people, they've got to give me the pain so I know exactly what to say to you. So if I don't get any pain, I'll be standing saying either tell me you've got pain somewhere. Well, that's no evidence, and the evidence has to be where is the pain.
So if I said to you, you ever stood in a plug?
Yeah.
Maybe you've just actually internally went out.
Oh, I'm sure I just said out. I think I spoke French that day.
Aye. So that's the kind of memory. So if you get that sort of memory, put in your brain that that's happened to your communicator in another world, you've just felt that pain. So your brain's saying a false signal. That's how we feel.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of science behind it. People think psychologists, psychiatrists debunked and look to disprove all the time. Again, that's a cultural myth and a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
There's trillions and trillions of research out there in near-death experience. The reason being is parapsychology has been there since the 1820s. okay, and they're not diagnosed psychotic or schizophrenic. It would be, what do you hear? What do you see? Where do you go? There's so many questions asked, and then it's like, oh, you're at Spiritualist Church. Oh, what with mediums?
Yeah.
So there's so much involved. There's so many cultural myths. We have to dispel that. Science will never prove anything. Because the minute you say something's proven, the testing stops there and then.
Yeah.
And I can put that towards like cancer. If you come out tomorrow and say, we found a cure for that and it's proven, testing stops.
Yeah. What was it going to say there? Yeah. When I started to come into spiritualism and mediumship, I was asking some medical people, these people who are schizophrenic, is it really just mediumship? Is it a spirit person they're speaking to? And they said, well, that's a possibility for some people, but some people are really schizophrenic and it's a totally different medical connotation and whatever. And I said, all right, that's fine, because I have heard of people who are schizophrenic and they're maybe school teachers and they're having a conversation at the class saying, like, just get it stopped and sit down there till I get this done. And I'm like, okay, is that schizophrenic or is it mediumship? So a big question mark.
If they're diagnosed schizophrenia, that would be happening, probably not taking their medication. Because schizophrenia, there's more to it. It's not about just hearing voices. There's so much in that ball game. And I don't mean ball game. We've also got schizophrenias are actually, believe it or not, they're actually tarnished just been over the media, the opposite to what they are.
Yeah.
They're not as dangerous. If we watch how the media, they walk wise, who's our audience and things.
Yeah.
And so they're like to portray that with mental health, anything saying these people are violent. The stats out there, if you look at the Scottish ONS and the UK ONS, will show that these kind of people, any mental health, are more prone to be hurt and violence is put towards them. Because there's, again, we've got so much uneducation out there.
Yeah.
And I've heard mediums out there saying when they're schizophrenic, maybe keep back to them, and I'm like, that is horrendous. And it's stuff I'm saying, because when I actually see disorder in my mind here, it's double standard. It's like we support mental health, but then it's like keep back to them. It's like, hello.
Exactly.
Behaviour.
No, when I was asking about it, I was
studying all that and studied it all.
Very new into my mediumship, and then through my work I had to go to a few mental hospitals, as they call them, and God love some of the people. It's horrific.
It's horrendous. And the
thing is with these places, they just put them in and then keep them on medication. What is the actual help? You know what I mean? It's just
there.
Helping people with pumping them with medication. That's not helping anybody. Because it's not giving their system a chance to sort itself out.
Yeah, but I don't think that's always the case, Gary. I think that there are people trying to help, but the facilities, the staff, the time is just not there. Yeah. And I think people are doing the best job they can with a bad lot, if you like. You know,
following rules. Are they really? At the end of the day, they're going and doing their job, following rules, keeping the boy locked up, and you'll never get out. You'll die in the
Well, I could go at the Stanley Milligram experiment saying with following rules or obeying orders, which was taken through what happened to in the Holocaust. But you've also got as well service users who maybe think, I'm fine, don't want to engage. That's hard. We've then get Margaret Thatcher, God, I'll take this into politics next. She done the care in the community. The reason was because they were able to cut the mental health services. That was actually to save money, believe it or not. It wasn't to help people. And so that's where we started getting the cut of mental health services. However, that is still that 8% that she took away. Has never come back, so we're about 2% every year gets put in. Still not back to what she'd done in the 1980s.
No, and I was going to take that a totally different tangent there, but I don't think.
I it's like everything. The money where it's needed to go, it never
Yeah.
goes. You know, they'd rather spend it on other things that, you know, what I
Yeah.
mean, more killing. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they'd rather spend money on. But we're not
Yeah.
going to
Don't
that.
get me started. Don't get Jean started.
No, we're not going into that side of things on the show, Ken,
No.
because the show's only on for so long. Yeah.
Last wee question, Clara.
Aye.
What do you think we need to do in the spiritualist movement just to kind of wake it up, shake it up, whatever you want to call it?
I think people should stop with Sturgy for a start. Stop putting on this portraying they're all for one thing in one hand, but behind the scenes we've got a different story. Stop telling people that when they come to Zoom now. I've heard people saying you're not allowed to eat, you're not allowed to, people smoking their own beds or vaping their own beds. Can't you do this, you can't do that. And I'm like, wow. Now, bearing in mind, they're smoking, blowing smoke into a camera. They've got somebody on a phone sitting right in front of people.
Yeah.
No, that's a no-no. People lying in bed, people are even judging that. People ever stop to think, you maybe in the last days, they're maybe in palliative care.
Absolutely.
They maybe have an illness where they're lying in bed and they can't sit up. Are we entitled to tell somebody you're in your own house, we'll tell you what to do? No.
Well, I know
What's the big deal? You know what?
Oh,
What is the big deal?
Well, there was a case where someone was smoking a large joint
Right.
in the church, so that obviously was said then.
Yeah. Well, fair dues, I would put him out for that because I've always said that when my place, I can't work with anybody that said alcohol or took drugs. It's just the way
and there
it
was
is.
someone else opening cans of beer, lager, whatever it was. So they had to kind of put restrictions on because of that. But they're not going to restrict you if you're having a coffee or anything like that.
Oh, you do, believe you me, what I'm hearing out there. I sent a couple of the girls, they're not mediums, and I says, get into this certain Zoom, you'll love it, great medium, blah, blah, blah. One of them has leg issues, so she's constantly got to keep moving. Okay? At the end of that Zoom, a person actually said to them, I hope you all get to spirit world. Your loved ones annihilate you and get through you for what you have done tonight. Wow. That person never thought he's saying, do you have medical issues? Listen, do what you have to do. But try and be careful in front of the camera. What I'll say to people is, I'll get cameras kept on. But what I'll say is, look, if you have to go and feed your kids, if you have to go and take something for your health, if something's triggered you and you need a wee bit of self-care away from that screen for 5 minutes, do it.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on in somebody's life. And I've got someone, I'm going to make a sweeping statement here. I'm going to say the word, I think. He says, well, are you going to get me with that in church? Well, guess what? Spoiler alert. They're not in church, they're in their own house.
And the thing is, in church,
with own technology, that's the way of the world.
In the Christian churches, etc., and a few others, the numbers that they're getting attending for their services is very, very limited. So why do you think we're getting more numbers in the spiritualist church than what we're getting in the other churches or some of the other churches?
Some of the other churches, I've only noticed a couple of them have started doing Zoom. Now, back in the day, it used to be Skype we used, as you know. They're finally realising that the way the world is technology, Zoom's a fantastic thing. Believe it or not, the NHS used it for appointments since 2008, which just wasn't out there publicly. A lot of people, even before the cost of living crisis, couldn't afford to travel to get to church. They couldn't afford a collection. Their ill health didn't get them out, whether it be social anxiety or physical things. So I can put this to my mum.
Yeah.
When that happened to my mum back in the day, she then went on to what was called Pal Talk. She found a full congregation of people like all over the world, Americans and everything. They had their own churches in Pal Talk. That's why they're not going into churches now, because it's easier for some people. And what I want to see is, we just say the numbers are different as much. No, Yeah, there is a slight dip, Jane, but we've reached a wider audience of people that I wouldn't call them the forgotten.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's the best thing that's ever happened, because we look at kids, they're on technology too much, they're on the games too much. Well, spoiler alert, hello, where are we every night?
And that's where the world's going. This AI is going to take the world by storm. And now they're thinking,
Yes.
how are we going to block it? Like, what are the rules we're going to put on it? Because they need to have some restrictions, guidelines, rules. So we'll see how that pans out. That should be interesting to watch.
Well, you've got the Hunger Games, they said for years. But what I find interesting with cultures and that now, whether you love them or loathe them, Elon Musk has even spoke and says people are going to end up in no jobs. He's taking over everything they say.
Yes, taking over.
Go to work if you want to give you something to do.
Yeah, and what you'll find as well is then people are going to be scrambling for money. But then if you look at the cashless checkouts and things round about, we hear people saying, oh, we can't do it, but then somebody's jumping up for the sake of saving 2 minutes. They're in a rush for 2 minutes that they would be doing something and get back sitting in the house doing hey-ho.
Yeah.
So instead of waiting your time saying, no, I'd rather go to that person on the checkout, I don't care if I'm waiting another 5 minutes. Yeah, I want to pay cash. They're not doing it. But yet we have the British, and I don't mean all the British, but we find them very vocal from a culture point of view. That we don't do much. The words and actions don't marry up. Well, let's save these people jobs. But when I'm in that checkout, I'm just going to go to cashless.
Yeah.
So we've just took somebody out of job again. These poor souls are standing, having to say, do you want to go to this? But really, they don't want that.
No, of course they don't.
So I think we have to be wise, and if you go abroad to certain countries, they will not let you spend unless it's cash.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, Dan, Gary, have you got any further questions?
Well, I was just going to ask Cara that. Is there anything you would like to mention on the show, Cara, or speak about or highlight before we call it a day?
Well, I'd like to thank Jane and thank you, Gary, for bringing me on. But also, I'd like to say this is wonderful again, the Mediums Table. You're interviewing people, you're getting things out there, and it's also, everything comes from a real point of view because it's live.
Yeah.
Nobody's got a chance to think, and it's like, just be honest out there, and will it bring more people into the medium movement and realise as well that we're not airy-fairy. Now, Jean's not airy-fairy, I'm not airy-fairy. It's like a feather fell on me. Well, there's pigeons up there, have you got a big feather on? So it's looking at the kind of things as well and letting people say, no, we're not all airy-fairy, and children should be involved, watching, learning, and growing into this because it's natural.
Yep, it sure is.
And thank you for having this because I think it's amazing.
Thank you very much, Cara.
Well, thank you for coming on, Cara, and agreeing to come on and being honest and open today. It's been excellent. So,
are you going to be available to do the healing today as well, Gary?
Yes, I'm hoping that Cara will take part in it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Well, very good.
You have to stand up.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So just get your camera sorted where we can see your body.
Well, everyone, thanks for watching the show today. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you want to come on the show, you can always email us or contact us. Leave a wee comment and leave a thumbs up there. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Jean. Thanks, Cara.
Bye.
See you after. Bye-bye now.